Africa. When I was a child, I thought about Africa. I thought about all the beautiful wild animals in the bush. I thought about elephants and lions roaming around the jungle without a care in the world. Now in Africa, that just isn't the case. Niassa is magic. The lion's heart is the heartbeat of Africa. The Niassa Lion Project is keeping the lion's heart beating. This is the story of the Niassa Lion Project. It's a story about generosity, courage, and commitment to keep the heart of every lion beating in Africa. When I was told about the Niassa Lion Project, I thought it was about lions and elephants. I found out it was about so much more.
Few places now left in the world that are quite as remote, even in Africa. And how you still protect these large protected areas and finance them. One has to be innovative, and in a place like Niassa, you've got 42 villages inside the protected area. So that makes for a very complex environment. And if you do not involve people, and as conservationists, we're always looking at ways to sort of maximize benefits and opportunities for local people. It's all about trying to integrate them into the wildlife experience, realizing that wildlife is not just something that wants to chase you and trample you and charge you, but actually that if we can find some middle ground, if we can find some compromise between local people and the wildlife, we could create a win-win scenario. So the thing that we can negotiate over with communities is job opportunities, and we need to look at how can we maximize those job opportunities for local people living inside protected areas, and make sure that all of those jobs go towards conservation services and towards the conservation agenda, basically. It's about all of the services that surround it. So it's the building that someone has to make the rope every single year.
So it provides them some job and some salaries.
The grass, the women are cutting the grass, the men are weaving. This whole camp is recreated every year. And that creates jobs, it creates pride, it creates self-esteem and all the work.
It's a sustainable job. It's a sustainable income that will come year after year for them.
Yeah. This camp is about trying to generate direct links between wildlife and villages. So this is trying to celebrate local people's traditions. It generates jobs. You're always trying to look for ways to create more jobs for local people, because if people don't have work, then they're going to look for the next best thing, and it's going to be often illegal activities. Now with the level of poaching here, obviously the elephants are very stressed, and it's very sad that that's happened, and that's why all of our efforts. We're a lion project, but at the end of the day, it's not just about lions. It's about the entire landscape and about all the biodiversity that is part of that landscape. And elephants have a major role in that environment. And then over the last 6 or 7 years, 10,000 elephants have been shot just in this one area. When you look at this landscape and you look at how remote you are and how wild it is, what's missing is 10,000 elephants.
Oh, now we are getting ourselves ready to go on patrol with the Mariri Scouts, and we are going in the north of the area where there is a lot of elephant, and there was some recently some scouts that for mining camps that came. So we'll go to check about that poaching on a mining camp, especially gold mining, which is one of the biggest problems here.
Each team carries a smartphone, a ruggedized smartphone. And on these smartphones, we collect all of the information that's being gathered. So whenever the teams see lion or wild dog or elephants, they enter that data on here digitally. They record key observations. Their track, this is tracking them, so the GPS log of where they're going is on here.
So I told him, if you guys are here to hunt, we're going to meet, definitely. Whether you like it or not, we're going to find you. So make it sure that you're just looking for firewood and go back to your camp, because otherwise things won't be right. So I think they've got the message, and they won't try to do anything.
It happens many times when you are in patrol to see guys like that?
In the area where normally these guys, they used to do fishing, yes, it's something normally. And as you know that in our area, there's no boundaries. There's a community living inside the reserve. So they move for fishing. Sometimes they're looking for honey. So it's not really too easy to identify who's the poacher. As long as I hide his rifle, then you look at him as a normal person.
They record all illegal activities. They record the ammunition that they carry, the weapons that they carry, who's on the team. It's looking at where they sleep, where they rest. All of that information is embedded in this one machine. And then all the photography. So when they go into a mining camp, they photograph all the miners. They put all the names, all the data that will be used in court and in the legal process is captured on this.
No, I chose this place because I see there is a water availability, and it's also a good place. We can see the both sides. You know, whatever comes from our left, right, we'll be able to see it. That's why I thought this is the right place for us to be.
Now we are setting up the camp here in a corner of the river with some comfortable sand. So we'll be able to have a good sleep and not too many animal tracks around. So we hope that it will be nice.
But as we know, not always that the animals are dangerous to the human beings. Yes, they will just come, maybe drink water and walk on their way back. It's not a really problem.
It is exhausting work. They sleep in the bush. Last night we were visited by a leopard while we were sleeping, so they deal with that all the time. But in order to keep that leopard here, we have to really take care of it and make sure that they have a job, make sure they have the money to have that job, and to conserve what they can here in Africa.
This is something that is quite interesting about conservation. Is okay, the ranger and the scout on all these patrols are probably what is the most visible about conservation boots on the ground. But actually, if you want to be efficient, there is as much work to do or even more to do with the local communities. You have to show to the people, to the local people in the village, that there is a strong interest for them to keep wildlife. What is interesting here in Niassa is that the people are allowed to have a sustainable use of nature. For example, you have a lot of fishermen. They are coming, they are fishing, they are collecting wood, and people are going to collect honey in the reserve. This is allowed because this is a sustainable use of nature. So it is very important for the Mariri project, for the Niassa Lion project, is to help the fishermen because fishing here is legal. So there is a legal way for people to have a source of proteins. And they're helping the fishermen. They put the fishermen on their side, and the fishermen will not help the poachers. So you speak with people, and you explain them again. And when you get one person, starting to help you and stopping helping the poacher, this is the way you win.
They understand that if you go and shoot an elephant, that's a crime against the reserve. What they don't understand is if you go dig in the sand and look for gold, why is that a crime? They're poor and they're just trying to make a living. And it's a far more difficult thing to explain that that's also not allowed because of the process that they use and because of the use of mercury.
This village has got a problem with the food insecurity. So giving lunch to kids helps them to come to school, and at the same time they have food and they get some proteins. And apart from that, we have also sports. So the idea is to promote sports, conservation and education, and healthy also. So these are the programs we do.
I feel more confident about the future as long as we can keep finding these alternatives, keep engaging communities, keep engaging people, giving people alternatives and benefits from wildlife.
Thank you.